made you get into acting?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. This is really cool. Thank you. My first live. I'm very excited. Um, I got into it. I got into acting honestly on a dare. I was with somebody at the time who was an actor, and he always made it seem so hard. Like he would get like really stressed out, and and so I said, "Oh man, I could act, no problem." And he was just so happy. He just so happened to write a play at the time, and he was like, "All right, I'll put you in my play." So I said, "Okay, fine, whatever." And and I went, I did it, and it was terrifying and wonderful and everything all in one. And I said, "Oh shit, I love this." I like got addicted immediately. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a dare. And by the way, I fucking did great that night. Can we curse? I think we
Yes.
can. Okay, good.
Yes. This is a safe space. You can be
Okay, good.
yourself.
Good.
You do not have to be in character at all. Like
All
at
right,
all.
good.
But when we talk about characters, I want to ask you about a character from your web series,
Oh boy. Yeah.
Becoming Ricardo. Can you tell me about that? Because
Yeah,
I've
you
been
did your
watching these
research.
episodes today.
Becoming Ricardo is it all stemmed from a character that I had back in the day. His name is Ricardo Montalban, who is like an actual actor. He's not an impersonation. He's just a guy who happens to have the same name as that actor.
Okay.
And it kind of stemmed from I guess like another dare to myself, which is interesting. So all these fucking dares. Um, I was talking with a comedy booker, and he was like, "Oh, somebody was doing a male character on stage. You got to see it. You got to see it. She's so believable." And I'm like, "Really? Oh my god, I love that stuff, you
Right,
know."
right, right.
So I looked her up, and I was like, "She's not very believable to me." And that's what it was. It was like, "Oh man, like I see where she was going, but it wasn't like." Believable to me. And so that was my dare. I said, okay, well, if I think I can do it better, or if I think I can, play a man more believable, then why not try it? So I dared myself,
Right.
and I just did it like with a couple of videos here and there online, and people were like, holy shit, you
And
look like a dude.
it caught went fast, huh?
Yeah. It caught went fast, very, very fast. And I was trying not to be offended that people said I look like a man. Um, and that's okay.
But
I look like my father.
that
I look
is
like my father
how
when
you
I
were
talk.
supposed to make the role.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, it was another dare.
So how long have you been acting? Like how many years?
Oh my gosh. Longer than my son has been alive. I always like I put everything up to that timeline, like how long has he been alive? I think about 25 years I've been acting or doing like stand up, which is how kind of like I started. Because I wanted to do comedy, but I didn't know exactly like what I can do in comedy other than doing stand up. I thought,
But I
okay,
hear stand
comedian.
up is one of the hardest forms of comedy.
Oh my God, it's so hard. It's so hard.
Right.
I wanted to die every single time. Like right before I would walk on the stage, I'd be like, please kill me. Somebody kill me now so I don't have to do this, But I did it. And it always turned out okay, thankfully. But yeah, it was another one of those things that I kind of like dared myself into doing, And I think that's what it is. It's just about like just being brave and saying, fuck it, I'm gonna try this. If I fail, fuck it. If I don't, awesome, And I
Right.
think that's just how you learn everything, right?
Because I was gonna ask you, how did you get over that initial stage fright? Like
Never.
you never dealt with.
Never.
Okay,
No.
that's good. Some people deal with it. I mean, I
Yeah.
actually deal with it myself when it comes to doing interviews. I'm still, getting used to it. I used to be an artist when I was young. So when I would do my like poetry and hip hop and spoken word and stuff, it'd be like, going to bus boys and poets and stuff. And
Right.
it's like you get them
Right.
jitters right before you gotta hit the stage.
Oh,
So
for sure. Oh, I mean, everybody's super nervous. I think if you do it like for a very, very long time, stand up, then you're not as nervous. But
Right.
of what I hear, people are always nervous. There's always like a little bit of anxiety before you get on the stage, for
Because I
sure.
noticed with a lot of comedians, they seem to like, well, not a lot, but now the new era of comedians, they're coming
Mhm.
up off skits and
Right.
you know what I mean, making their
Yeah, like
sketches
internet
all off
stuff.
the social media side. So it's like they're not
Hmm.
coming
Hmm.
in doing stand up, you know. So then when
Right.
they jump into that field, it's like, oh, I didn't get the same reaction I got from the two
Right.
hundred thousand people I have on Instagram that's supporting me. So it's like it kind of like it weaves out, you know, the people that are
Yeah.
ready for the next
I mean,
stage. I feel
yeah, I think stage, I did a lot of theater after I started doing stand up because I figured, well, maybe I can do like comedy theater, you know?
right,
And so I did a lot of that. And it was always very nerve wracking. But I always, like in the beginning, like as soon as you come out, I would always be a little bit nervous. But then I'd kind of like just tell myself, Jess, stop freaking out. It's not the end of the world, you know?
right.
And so I just found like a sense of peace on stage, and I love doing theater. Theater to me is like the best acting experience anyone could possibly get. So
Right.
I always tell actors, like, you got to do theater, you got to do improv, you got to do things that make you really uncomfortable. So that way you can find your comfort in it, which is weird, but that's basically how it is, you know?
So it's kind of a just practice makes perfect thing after you just keep
Yep.
dabbing at it.
You
Eventually,
got to
you get
keep
it.
doing it. It's like riding a bike, right? When you know how to ride the bike, but if you haven't ridden one in like 20 years, when you
Right.
get on the bike, you're going to be wobbly. You're going to be like, oh shit. You're not going to be confident. You're not going to be
Right.
doing tricks or whatever, you know? But if you're constantly, oh, every weekend I'm going to go bike ride, then you're always going to know how to do it. So, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So as we progress further, like how did you get into like the universe that everyone knows you for now with this latest role with Raising Kanan? How did that
Yeah.
come about?
Well, it came from an audition from my agent, and I read the audition, and I thought, yeah, she this character is like my worst nightmare
Mm,
as a mother. I'm also a mom, and I'm a single mom, and I have a son, and he's not like at all, he's not like famous, let's just make that clear. He's a good guy, you know, but
right.
I remember when I was raising him, because I live in the Bronx, you know, like you never know what is going to influence your kid, whether you're going to influence them or whether, you know, the neighborhood or friends or whatever. So I was always very nervous about raising him. And while I was raising him, that he would not become a good person because of where we live, which was kind of stupid, but I was very young. But I would always think, oh, thank goodness he's a good guy. And when I read this, I thought, like, this is what my worst fear was, you know?
Right.
She's doing her best, she's working, she's doing her best as she possibly can to raise these two kids. And one came out okay, like the girl, you know, but the boy, it was like, it
You
was
don't
just
think
like,
the
I mean,
sister
you know what
kind of
happened. You know what
you
happened.
you don't think the sister kind of could have laid famous towards being involved in some of that stuff though?
I mean, yes, possibly, but you know,
You know, because she could have played the back when it came
I
to
know,
his
I
music
know.
career. She didn't have to lead it and put herself in those situations as well. You know,
Right, right. I know, but I didn't write it. It's a good
I feel
story.
like when it comes to famous character though, they should give us more backstory. Hopefully going forward as far as like
Mm,
what exactly happened with his death. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It kind
yeah,
of like seemed like he just vanished, and
right,
it left a lot of fans on edge because now we're like, like how did it lead to that? Like what
right.
was, what I mean? What
I
occurred? Like,
know. It was a shocker. It was a shocker.
definitely a shocker.
It was very difficult. It was very difficult to film. It was very emotional. a lot of my role on Raising Kanan is very emotional because we come into this part of her and Famous's life where it's like they're very unsure, they're very scared, they don't know what's going on or what's going to happen, and so I think almost every single episode that I was on, I was crying. So I had to drink a lot of water. Um, and it was very, yeah, it's just like, I would always be like very exhausted at the end of the day. I'd have to like come home and watch a lot of comedy or something
Right.
just to like kind of like get myself out of it. But yeah, it was an unfortunate thing that happened to him, and maybe in season 5 they might give a little bit more clarification. We don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully, you know.
Hopefully that would be cool.
So is it like hard for you to like try to juggle multiple things at once? Because I know you're not just waiting for them to start filming again. I'm not sure if they started filming again or not, but
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
they did. They filmed season 5 already. So I think that comes out this year, maybe in March or something. I think I saw somewhere. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But
I won't.
it it's hard. It is hard because I'm an actor, and that's primarily all that I want to do with my life.
It stay
But
busy, right?
yeah, just to stay busy. But I have to have a job, like a lot of actors in New York and all over the world. We have to be able to pay our bills and eat and support our families and
Right.
stuff. And so yeah, I juggle a job and an acting career, and I'm also a creator. I'm writing very first feature film and a short film that I'm doing this year.
Can you
And
tell us
so it's
about
like,
that?
oh yeah, it's called Half Sisters. It's a comedy, drama, adventure, and it's about two sisters who are estranged, and they come together at a very trying time in their lives. So yeah, that's all I could say for now. Don't
Okay.
want to give too
Don't
much.
give us
Don't
too
want to
much.
give too much out. Yeah, yeah. But it's been an experience. It's my very first like I've done web series and online sketches and stuff, but I've never done a film before.
Right.
So it's different. It's I've been writing, me and my co-writer, who just happens to be my best friend, Jenny Ruiz. So hi Jenny. Hi Jenny. Um yeah, she and I have been writing this for about 4 years, believe it or not. And writing takes a long time. People think it doesn't, but it really, really does.
So when I think about your web series, is there a reason why you never try to like give a pitch to Tubi for your web series? Because I noticed like a couple other actors they were able to get their web series transition from YouTube over to Tubi, and just
Yeah.
with that, more people, it just brought more eyes. That's all.
Actually, this was like before Tubi days.
Oh,
This
okay.
my Becoming Ricardo was, oh my God, how many years ago was that? I don't even remember. Maybe like 12 or 13 years ago, something like that. And when I was doing like sketches and stuff like that, that was all of this was like before, this was like at the very beginning of people putting up web series and online sketches and shit like that. So it's really amazing to see how like all these web series have gone from like online web series to now like being on Netflix or being on
Right.
Tubi or being on HBO as like
You
sitcom series now. So it's pretty cool.
you feel like it's more opportunities now for actors than it was before, or is it less?
I think that it depends, right? Because the industry is very interested in who can sell.
Mhm.
And so they tend to go the route of like, oh, how many followers somebody has, right? Rather than how
Not
talented a
talented.
person is, you know? I mean, I don't know if we're ever gonna get like Meryl Streep's or Robert De Niro's again, you know what I mean? Like those type of actors that we remember from childhood. and who have a long lasting career,
Right.
right? Because like when they started, they were like in their early 20s, and how old are they now? In their 70s and 80s,
Like
right?
I'm
So
like I'm a
that's,
huge Marvel fan. Like one of
oh,
the first
yeah.
Marvel movies I saw was Blade, and that was before I even
Oh
got
my
like
God.
deep
Yeah.
into Marvel. But just to see how far
I
Marvel movies have
know.
transitioned since Blade is like that's crazy. Cause think
I
about how
know.
low budget of a film Blade was at that time period
Right.
compared to like them putting out Black Panther or you know what I
I
mean
know. And
um
all the different, like back to back to back to back. Yeah.
or the Infinity War saga or Endgame or something like that. It's like wow, like look how more advanced everything is. Look at
I
the
know.
casting
It's
roles they brought
amazing.
in now. It's like you know Stan Lee, his ideas and his vision, to watch it come to
Right.
life so much more now. And that's the thing when you create something that's that big and it lives on after you. Like that's amazing.
Yes. That is. That
So I
is.
totally understand what you're saying about like finding actors that are like, you know what I mean? Like get
Yeah.
people based off talent and not based off how much, as you said, followers and clout and
Right. Because
because
think
that
about
stuff
like
can
if
phase out.
think
It can
about
phase out.
right. Think about if that was like the thing back in the day, right? Because all the actors that we love, that we really really love and admire, and like just like we look at them and are like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Like that's the type of work I want to produce. That's the type of work that I want to give to the world, right?
Right.
We look at these actors and they don't give a about who the hell is liking video. They don't post shit.
They
Even
don't
to
care.
this day, they don't care, because to them, they're actors, and to them, they're who they are, their craft is the most important thing to grow, right?
Right.
And so it's very different now. And I think it's going through a transition where I feel like the industry is starting to realize that, and really trying to not be too complacent in the actors, or the actors doing their job for them, which is like gain views and all that stuff. I think that it's hopefully, maybe it's just a hope that it will change eventually. And I think it is kind of. Every now and then we see an actor that's really, really inspiring, and like really, really great.
Right.
One of my favorite comedians is Michelle Buteau, and her show Survival of the Thickest is out. I love her. I love it. She's a stand-up comedian. She didn't really start out as an actress, she's a stand-up comedian, but you can tell that she put in the work. And that's what it is. Like if you come from all these different avenues of entertainment, you have to put in the work in order to become great at this, And I feel like she's like one of those. She just stuck out into my mind. And so yeah.
So do you feel as though like some actors they run into adversity and they kind of walk away from the craft too soon or
Well, look, it's very hard. It's a lot of no's. It's a lot of no's. Like last year, I didn't really get anything. I've gotten auditions, but I didn't really get anything. And it's one of those things that you just cannot take it personal. It's anything could be, oh, her hair's too curly, or she's too short. I remember I had an audition. It was for a Ben Stiller movie, and
mm,
it was me and another girl. We got called back, right? This is when you had to go to audition.
right.
Not like now you get to film everything in your house. But we go. I had a great second audition, wonderful. And they asked me how tall I was on my way out. And I said, shit. Because the other girl who was there was very tall. And so I said, she's probably going to get that because she's taller than me. And
Right.
it's just that simple. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Because it made sense that she was cast instead of me. No matter how good I did, no matter, how much I made them laugh in it, it was just something like that minute. And so I just think that, actors, when you get into this, you have to realize, you have to get into it for the right reason, number one. If you're getting into it for, you know, attention and popularity and all that, that's really the wrong reasons. Because it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you bad. Um, so I just think, you know, just the more you do it, don't at least try not to get offended, by not getting cast,
Right.
no matter how much you want it. You know, I heard, something online, and it was Michael Keaton, and he said when he was very young, he was, you know, Michael Keaton, he was the first Batman, the best Batman in my opinion.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
Okay, okay. But he said something once, and it changed my mind completely about
You know,
auditioning.
I'm kind of a Ben fan though. You know,
Okay,
but
all right. I won't judge you. But he said, you know, when you go into the audition, that's the job.
right,
That's the gig. You got an audition. So go in there and perform as if you got it already. Because
right,
even if you don't get booked for it, you still had that opportunity to perform. And that's what we live for. You know,
right.
that's all that we want, is to perform all the time. I'm always saying it. Oh, I want to perform. I want to perform. I want to perform, you know? And that's pretty much it. When he told me that, I said, you know what? It's like a thing clicked in my mind, and I started having more fun doing auditions. You know, it started kind of like doing whatever. As a matter of fact, when I auditioned for Power, um, it was the scene where I find him naked in the bed with the girl, right?
Right,
That was the
right,
first
right.
time you see Olga, mom. You know, mom comes in, finds him pissed off. In the audition, because I'm in my house, right? I was going in. I had a belt wrapped around my head.
Right,
I was
right,
like,
right.
what the fuck? You know, I'm like, fucking,
So
I'm
you
going
overserved.
off.
Like you were like
Yeah. Because I thought about, like, what would my mom do if she
right.
saw her teenage son, right,
Or what
in
would
the
you do
bed with
around
a
that time
naked
frame
girl?
if you saw your son?
Yes. So I grabbed the belt and I'm like, I'm just whipping, you know, and I'm like, I'm going in. And it worked. Who knows what it could have been? Maybe it was the belt that worked. I don't know, but it worked, you know, and I got the part. And usually when you just do what you want, when you just do what you think, what you feel this character would do, that's when you get it. That's when you get it.
So was it like instant like chemistry between you and Famous like on set?
Oh, he's so cool. He's such a sweet person. He really, really is. And it's so funny because I told my son, I said, you know, he looks more like Antonio Famous looks more like my son than my actual son does, which is
Oh,
hilarious to me.
right. They did
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
casting role because, you know,
yeah.
I see where they
I see it too. I see it too. We got the hair, we got the curly hair. We're both Puerto Rican. Like, you know, like it went
you
very
look more
well.
like his son than the daughter looks like.
Yes,
You get what
yes.
I'm saying? Like
Yep, yep,
you
yep.
guys
He's from
could
another
cast more
father. He's
siblings.
from
I
another
mean
father.
more
That's why.
more relatives before you and the daughter could.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a very captivating series. I feel like
Yeah,
it
it
has
really
a
is.
lot of eyes on it. I mean, the surprises. I mean,
Oh,
just the
I
way
know.
they one character. I do feel like they could have did a little more with his storyline, but you know, it's up to the writers.
Right.
Ronnie was great.
Yes.
That was great. He was kind of a bit of a Michael Myers type of character. You know,
Yeah.
he was a bit awkward and odd, but at the same time, that's what he was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like
You know what I love about the show is it's a soap opera. It's an urban soap opera is what it is, you
that's
know? And
real.
I love that it's a period piece, so it's in the 90s. So we get to see all that again. We get to enjoy all that again. So immediately it sucks you in, right? Because it's
Right.
like, oh, the 90s, they're playing all the old hits. They, you know, they got the hair, some of them got that Gumby look. You know what I mean? Like I remember, oh, I dated a boy who had a Gumby hairstyle when I was in high school, you know? So it's like it immediately draws you in
The
if
special
you
ed.
know that, yeah, if you know that time, if you know that period in
Yeah.
time. And I mean, it's just such a great idea. I think they're coming out with another one that is a time, it's like a period.
Power Origins.
Yes, Power Origins.
So this the
Mm.
the origin series is supposed to be more of an in-depth look at Ghost and Tommy, and showing
Yes.
them is you know the same period that Kanan was in around that time. So that
Right.
was like the
Right.
next chapter of showing how all three of them came together, and you know,
Yeah.
eventually they'll have to take out Breeze, and then from
Right.
there, you know what I mean? It'll
Yep.
catch things up to where we're at in the current day, you know, because they
Right.
used to always
Right.
bring that up in the original Power series where they would bring up Breeze a lot, and everybody was
Right.
just hanging on to this character, like, so who is this Breeze guy?
Right.
When is he coming? Like,
Right.
you know, and just to see that it took that many seasons. You know what I mean? What, 4 seasons
Hmm.
now? Yeah, it took 4 seasons for them
Yeah.
to eventually bring him on at the end of the season. You know,
At the
last
end of the
episode.
season.
But
Yep.
I knew as soon as he got out of the car and they was like, "You already know who this guy is." I was like,
Yep.
yeah, they finally introduced him after all
I
this time. But
know.
honestly, I thought we would have saw a version of Ghost and Tommy before we would have saw Breeze. So that did kind of, you know, set me back saying Breeze before we saw Ghost and Tommy, but I can understand them not.
Yeah.
They still want to, you know, stretch that out. Don't give us too much. Just like
Right.
now, as I look at Forrest, I look at this character Jannar, Crispy
Hmm.
Lawson, and I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, they could kill him off. They could kill him off. But when you're talking about a top level
I love it.
antagonist like this, you might want to keep him only because there's so much more that you can do with that character. Same as
Right.
Unique, you know what I mean? When we're talking Joy
Right.
Badass, he's the
Yeah.
same way. Like they could have just let it be done with Ronnie killing him right there, but they knew like this
Right.
is a stronger character, stronger personality. You know what I mean? Good charisma on screen. You want to
You know
keep
what?
these people
You know
around.
what's funny about this? It's like this is how like housewives used to talk about soap operas back in the day. You know, like they used to go in, right? Like they couldn't miss their stories. They couldn't miss it's such a beautiful thing when you can like follow a story, and he's like, and 50 has like built this entire universe, right? Of all these different people, all these different characters. You could do
And
so
it can
much.
keep going. It can keep
So
going.
much. Yeah.